What's up, y'all? Pretty Beggar here, back in yet another hat and another crew neck sweatshirt. And today I have something that will hopefully help a lot of you quarantine musicians and aspiring live streamers out there. So I did a live stream yesterday, and within a few hours of that wrapping up, I had several messages from folks curious about my methods for getting high resolution audio and video into their live streams. So today I'm here to walk you through what worked for me, while also hopefully speaking in some universal terms so that if you don't have my same equipment rig, you can still use these tips to help make your own AV equipment work for you right now. Now, if you're not necessarily interested in streaming, but maybe you want to make some YouTube videos, I use the same rig for YouTube and live streaming. The only difference is instead of recording the video to my hard drive for a YouTube video and then editing it later on, I simply send the video output to the internet for a stream. So whether you want to stream or vlog or what have you, this will all help you out. This is part one of the video series, and we'll be talking about video capture, but stay tuned for more videos on audio strategies, mixing, digital audio workstations, streaming software, and anything else that I can think of that help me out. So any gear that I mentioned in this video, I'll try to link down below. No sponsorships, no nothing, just the stuff that worked for me. So let's start with the camera. I have a Nikon D3500 DSLR. This is an entry-level DSLR that I got on Black Friday last year for about $350. For that money, it came in a kit with a tripod and two lenses. It's currently sitting on that tripod on top of my desk right now. And one of the two lenses is an 18 to 55 millimeter zoom lens that came in the kit, and I use that for all of my live streaming and YouTube videos. Check the description for the exact model. This lens has great zoom and field of view, and it shoots really sharp video in a well-lit space, but more on lighting in a moment. I have the camera mounted just to the left of my monitor screen. There, it's out of the way, but can still shoot just about anything inside the room. It's also out of the way of my studio monitor, so I can continue to mix songs without having to move the camera. And it's right next to the monitor screen, so if in case I have a script up for a YouTube video, I can read it right from there. If you don't have a DSLR camera, some of the specifics in the rest of the video may not directly apply to you, but my camera is essentially just acting as a webcam, just a very high resolution one. So a lot of what we discuss coming up will still apply if you have a USB webcam or other video source. Okay, so lighting. This lens will start to struggle in low light conditions due to a pretty narrow aperture, so typically I have these blinds open for lots of natural light. And for night shoots, I have these USB rechargeable LED lights. I originally bought these lights to illuminate my merch box in dark venues while out on tour, but I found that they come in handy all the time, and I just love them. But hey, just gather whatever lighting you have, the more well lit you are, the sharper your video is going to be. So whatever kind of camera you have or are going to get, you're going to want it to be digital. A digital camera can output digital video to your computer for use in streams and YouTube videos. So I'll show you how I manage that data transfer with this camera. So most DSLRs have a couple output ports on them. My particular Nikon has a USB out, which can be used for data transfer, and a mini HDMI, which I use to output the live video. So again, mini HDMI, so you're going to need a mini HDMI cable to regular HDMI on the other side to output that video. So once that's plugged in, I have the HDMI on the other end going into what's called a Cam Link. This is a device that's used to convert an incoming HDMI video signal into USB so it can be picked up by your computer. Now don't be fooled by female HDMI ports on something like a multi-port USB hub. Those are typically for sending video out from your computer, such as to a secondary monitor, so they will not take in video coming from your camera. So once your camera is connected to your computer via that HDMI to USB connection chain, most softwares should be able to recognize that Cam Link video input without any additional software or drivers. For example, here we are in QuickTime, and after plugging in the camera, Cam Link shows up as a video input source. Same thing for the Elgato Capture HD streaming software and for the OBS streaming software. Okay, so now you have a video feed going to your computer. All that's left to do is record that video feed or upload it via stream, via one of these softwares or video capture programs. But those aren't the only things that I need to remember when doing my video setup. So at the end of the video here, I'm gonna list off a few things that you may not need or encounter in your setup, but these are some tricky things that I had to work through to get this vlogging and live streaming setup to work well for me. Now, first and foremost, a battery power adapter. So my Nikon D3500 battery with a full charge will last about 90 minutes. But for longer streams and capture sessions, I didn't want to have to worry about the battery running out or having to buy several spare battery backups. The power adapter will cost you about 30 bucks off of Amazon, plugs right into your battery port on your camera, and delivers continuous power. The sun's coming in the window right now. It's so bright! I look like an angel. Now the next thing to account for is your live view. So most, if not all, DSLR cameras will have an informational screen on the back of the camera. Now when it's not plugged into the HDMI, that screen defaults to showing you some information about the settings on your camera. But if you enter live view, which is typically initiated by a toggle switch up by your settings wheel, then that screen will transition to a live video feed of what your camera is seeing. Now, whatever is shown on the screen is the same information that will be transmitted through your HDMI cable. So you may find that when you first plug in all of your cables, you're not seeing a live video feed, you're just seeing some settings from the camera. Just hop into live view and you'll be ready to go. Now, in a DSLR's relentless pursuit to give you as much information about your camera as possible while you're shooting, your live view also defaults to having some information displayed on the screen, which will also be transmitted through your HDMI. Now thankfully this is an easy one to fix. Most Nikon and Canon DSLRs have an info button right on the back of the camera that is for this specific purpose. Just hit that button and you can cycle through the different display settings for your live view. Now, speaking of live view, this next one gave me the most hassle throughout this whole process, and my way around it is more of a life hack than a solution. I have a Nikon D3500 and Nikon is set up so that the live view has a maximum auto off timeout of 30 minutes, which means you can be in live view sending a nice video output to your computer, but the longest it is capable of staying on is 30 minutes. You cannot disable this feature. So here's my solution. Now, as you may know, the picture taking button, capture button, exposure button, whatever it's called, the button that you hit to take the picture, shows you I'm not an expert, but I still got this set up to work for me, so you can too. Anyways, the photo button will have 2 pressure points. So if you're in autofocus and you put some light pressure on the button, your camera will autofocus to your subject, and if you push it all the way down, it will then take the picture. Now that autofocus light pressure point will suspend your camera in that autofocus sort of state. And this suspension prevents your auto off timer for the live view from activating. Got stripes all of a sudden. So what I've done is I found a little piece of squishy rubber in a rubber band. I simply wrap the rubber band around the camera, put the squishy guy right on the photo button, and because it's squishy, it doesn't press the button all the way down and keeps it in that suspended state. Next is autofocus and auto exposure. So automatic settings for keeping your subject or yourself in focus, and automatic exposure for how much light you're letting into the camera. I would say that if you have something other than a Nikon camera, thus you don't need to use this rubber band hack, just leave the autofocus on and it'll continue to keep you in focus while you move around your space if you're doing a live stream. Now, auto exposure is great if you're using natural light especially, and throughout your video you have several lighting changes like what I'm fighting through right now with all this stuff. But personally, I don't like the look of a video that's continuously dimming and brightening. Let me see if I can show you why. See how whenever it sees my pasty arms, it tries to dim the light and then it comes back up. It just makes my brain go crazy when it's constantly updating like that. So if you don't like it, just turn it off for your camera. All right, one last tip, but this is mostly for folks who will be running multiple video input sources. So you might be running a multicam live stream, or like me, you might have a video capture card to stream games, but also a DSLR video input source. And the tip is, don't put multiple video input sources into the same USB multi-port hub. So I have a USB multi-port hub that has several USBs, Ethernet, HDMI, and it aggregates all of those and runs them through the same Thunderbolt USB-C port on my MacBook. And the problem comes when you try to run multiple video signals through there. Essentially, if you have multiple video feeds that are running into the same USB hub, those feeds will compete for priority access to that one single aggregated USB port that ultimately plugs into your computer. So do your best to avoid this. Put all your video feeds on isolated connections to your computer and you should be fine. You can try them on the same USB hub if you have to, and maybe it'll work for you. But for me, I either only got one feed coming through or they both just froze up. So just avoid it, I think. Okay, so there you go. That about wraps up this video on video. Part one of this video series that I'm saying video too much. Part one of a video series that I'm trying to do, showing people how to get high quality video and audio into your streams if you're a musician, songwriter, performer, what have you, and you're having to do some shows from home to connect with fans. This is my first time doing a video like this and it nearly killed me. So hopefully I can get you the rest of the episode soon. We'll talk about how to broadcast high quality audio and how to work with digital audio workstations like Pro Tools or Logic Pro if you like that kind of thing. And very importantly, how to work with streaming softwares such as Elgato HD Capture or OBS or others. If you have any more detailed questions about your specific setup, make sure to ask them down below in the comments and I will answer as many as I can. If this video did help you out, make sure to hit that like button. And I'm just getting going, so if you want to see these other videos that are coming out and you want to support the channel, make sure to subscribe, and we'll see you soon in another video. Thanks.